Republican Senator Lindsey has called on President Obama to remove the acting general counsel of the National Labor Relations Board over the board's decision to file a complaint against Boeing for moving a production facility to South Carolina, a right-to-work state. Why do you think President Obama has not spoken out against the complaint?
Well, he's right in this regard. This is an independent agency, but the complaint is devastating to the economy as a whole. At a time when you're trying to create jobs, this complaint basically says that Boeing's decision to move to South Carolina violates the law, and clearly Boeing came to South Carolina after looking around the entire country, creating a new line of work. Nobody lost their job in Washington. No benefits were reduced in Washington. So this goes to the heart and soul of capital formation, how business would make a decision. And Mr. Daley, the president's chief of staff, was on Boeing's board at the time they agreed to move to South Carolina. He made that decision almost over a year before he was selected by the president. If nothing else, the president ought to say, I don't believe my chief of staff violated the law when he's a member of the board. Mr. Jim McNerney, the CEO of Boeing, heads up the President's Export Council, trying to create jobs here in America, making goods that we sell overseas. He's in charge of a very important part of the President's economic agenda. I think he should speak out against this complaint and speak up for these two individuals.
Does this complaint set some sort of precedent in your mind?
Yeah, I think what it does, we can argue over, if a Republican president can pick a business a lawyer to be on NLRB, I understand that. But this complaint really goes to capital formation, how a company makes a business decision. This is not about how you regulate greenhouse gases. That's important in the economy, but if this complaint stands, once you decide to go to a union location, you can never move unless it's you can't even talk about the business environment without being accused of retaliation. So this has incredible consequences. Instead of going to South Carolina, Boeing will just leave the country. And the complaint alleges they violated the law when nobody in Washington suffered at all, and they're using the words of Mr. McNerney about the cost of doing business in Washington as basically illegal. So you're trying to chill out the ability of someone to negotiate what's best for their business. So this strikes at the heart and soul of capitalism. This is a very dangerous precedent to go unanswered.
Are there any appointments that the president's made to the board that you think should be removed?
Yeah, Mr. Solomon, the guy who filed the complaint, is so out of line. I understand presidents picking someone's sympathy to their agenda, but they have some obligation under the law to follow the law. So I think he's an interim appointee who will never see confirmation in the Senate. I think he should dismiss the general counsel who filed the complaint. That would be a statement to the whole country that I'm not going to accept what I think, accept a really rogue action. This is so out of bounds. And I've been a guy who understands presidents get the right to pick. I voted for 2 Supreme Court justices. I wouldn't have chosen, but I thought they were well qualified within the law, that they were not activists. This complaint is legal activism, political activism run amok, and the thing the president ought to do is dismiss the man who filed it.
Senator Graham's comments were made here at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce after a press conference about the NLRB's complaint against Boeing. Nicholas Balassi, CNSNews.com, Washington.